kind of the threes on some top are some high probability trade setups that we have had. Kind of what I'd like to give some light on, or kind of just show how I do, and maybe get feedback on help so I get better. But big three, so bias, determining bias, action point, going over some price cycles, 3 pieces of evidence that would indicate if we need to change our bias, or able to help us withstand maybe the market this trade going against me. You'll see stalls and tests that I did, 3-bar reversal high setups and pullback. So it should all start to fall in together as we continue. So bias, of course, is, we want to establish what the trend is and what our bias for our trade setups are going to be. So a couple of just pictures of earlier throughout today, and some historical data we'll go over as well. I always like, and one thing that actually helped me a lot with establishing bias is that I always look for 3 time charts that are in our 3 time charts for my trading session or window. So here we have, the 5-minute chart again. Downside pressure, testing the new low. With the 15-minute, we've expanded, so we have more, a bigger picture of kind of what this market has been doing, over the past few days. And we're really into this section here. And so this is looking for more data as far as what my bias, possibly is going to be. And then same with the hour. So I like to use these 2 time frames, again, just for that window of trading, or how long my trading session, should be, right? That 2-hour window. And so, but we do have a lot of historical data, of course, as we go through each one of these time frames that we still have to, kind of sort through, right? And so, wanted to kind of take a closer look. I got fancy with one graphic. Lucky. And so we'll take a closer look on, first starting here with the hour, right? And so wanted to kind of really break down, what would be looking for there on this hour. So we of course do have the, we do have the higher lows. We've got this real trend, lower highs here. For this, really for this downward pressure and, marching market breakout, right? Just continuing to go down towards the buy or to the short side. It's tested, it's moved now and tested this low, and of course gone into more of a consolidation period. Well, and also here in these areas, we of course see that breathing, right? And then it still keeps falling. But we have a real good pocket of consolidation right here, and it tested our action point. And so, so always drawing my action points, support resistance levels and decision points, whatever we deem them. But just so I can start to see this different market, how the market's behaving differently. And then on the 5-minute, more of the same evidence, right? Still tested these highs, gone in consolidation, do have strong downward pressure that we're having to take account of. So, probably more, or what was more my bias was down to the downside, right? Because it's taking all this market pressure in account. It's tested and failed. Once we've got here, it's tested and failed action points to the long side. And so it's also done so here and hit another action point. And continue to test in the consolidation period, which kind of started to give maybe evidence that this market had, again, this bouncing off of these, this double bottom, or again, it's just it's market restructuring, right, or possibly just reversal too. So I have to look and just take that into account for my bias, right, for this first trading session. But again, just in account taking in that it does have these strong support, low support levels that it's been that it did test, came back. But why I'm still thinking that my bias is, to the short side is because we've got okay, gosh, they are in order. I thought I had a bigger section on a higher time frame or slide that showed that with this historical with this downward pressure, this data I call it, I'm still weary and of maybe completely going short for my bias for my trading window because it has failed to really close or test or break through anything above the the 50% level of this run, right? So I'm just kind of taking that into account, right? But I'm still with this data, I'm still then on the short, right? I'm still looking for shorting opportunities. And so here on the 1 minute time start, we start to draw more action points. This is where we're going to be executing our trades and also going over our price and time cycles, which with my previous analysis on the price cycle here in our I skipped ahead a little too quick before I move to this chart. So I've highlighted on the 5 minute. This was my trading window, right, for the day. And so as it started to hit this action point, started to build in, shorter positions, right? Or excuse me, short positions, but still staying light because of, again, all the data towards the long. But staying light, was able to capitalize and make money on these down trends. I did get caught up a little bit here in the trading window at this point because I was still shorting. But it was light enough, and then it shorted for a minute. And then I had to withstand this move here. Came to the action points, and then I was continuing to short this market. Which again, really what helped me determine those trade executions is from, again, understanding what my bias is and looking at, of course, and really paying attention to action points that I've got drawn here. And I know there's a lot of lines here, for my 1 minute, but again, this is where I'm managing my trades. And so, so it's, again, for me, the more action points I know, or that I know that are there, that I can see and visualize. And a lot of people can, do it just without all those lines, but I have to have a line.
Jimmy, do you mind if I ask you a few questions on that slide though, really quick?
Yeah. I might be answering them in the next one, but yeah, go ahead. You are the host, sir.
Just from a state of reference,
So I'll go back to the 5 minute here.
Well, I want to just ask a few questions. When you trade, are you trading for like a position trade, or are you looking for 2 pips? Like, what's your goal here? Because I'm seeing like, okay, you're in. Are you just going from this point to this point, or what's your setup? So just to kind of give us a basic foundation of what you're. You keep saying action points. You keep saying action points, and that's great. But what are you looking for in here? Because you got this right here. You have this in your you have this box that's drawn. So are you trading in the box? Here. Do you know what I mean?
So what these boxes, to answer that question, what these boxes are indicating is my actual trading window for the day, right? Because all this data was yesterday, right?
Okay.
And so just again, as I'm trying to determine my bias, I'm just taking in an account again what or how I'm figuring my bias for the short side, right? And then so then I start getting into those trades, but yeah, this highlights that our the trading window.
Sure.
This little one is the start of the trading, and I'm glad you asked this question so I could explain it. So yeah, this is the start of the trading session for the day, and then was the basically the end, right? And so.
So are you still like? Are you? What?
So
are you
I'm
hunting?
looking, but I'm not. I don't have the parameters. I don't typically have take profit on because I'm managing these trades, and so I'm really looking for to stack or to build different levels into each position, right, as it goes, and then if it stalls, then hopefully either took the profit for a good decision, right? Or if it runs, further down, I hear you, brother, saying, why did you not let that go? Try to be cognizant of that. And then, essentially use price action through these action points, support and resistance that will, allow me to kind of close out those trades or manage the trades, the trades that I'm upside down in.
Sure.
If that makes sense. And so the first part of our trading, this trading day and session is down here too. Again, we were going off our action points. We've reviewed, more of the price and time cycles. And again, since my bias was initially to the short side here, again, I took advantage of these moves, but in an all-out perfect world, I probably would have recognized that this was, that second test and a really strong test of the action point or our new low, right? That was made, and so I was still, I got caught into some shorts here. This was a fast, pretty fast move.
This is the news event for the morning right there.
Right. And so also with with my bias, and hopefully I said news event, but we recognize that the news event could, change the direction of the trend, right? Break that trend. And so I was light enough to be able to withstand this first, first big move right before it started stalling or testing. And then I did get into a few more shorts, but it ran back up and then came back down. And so at this point, I still have some upside down trades that I'm in. But I use the evidence and understanding that it started to, also maybe, I did a whole slide I moved way too fast. So this would be the first part of the trading session, right? Did fairly well, staying with the short. But this is, of course, when it went, when it went against me, with that news event a little bit, and so, but again, the key is definitely to stay light in those positions, especially those very first ones, right? And if at all possible, again, be able to, of course, withstand, right, that direction against you. And so I started looking for evidence with price action, and again, more on the action points of how to, how to start going to the long side, right? Because I do have quite a bit of evidence that it's going to continue that way with these pullbacks. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you're looking for the pullback, right?
Right. So, but initially, right, again, I'm still upside down a little bit, right? Because
because you got
shorted, got caught in there. And so these are the first parts of the evidence that I say that I could start getting some longs in, and to help make up for the, of course, for the upside down trades.
Sure.
And then of course, hopefully, we'll maybe to make a little bit of money, right, as well. Because in my initial again assessment, I know, and this is what this has so many lines, is because this is where it failed, or this is where it would have been. If it would have broke through this, then it definitely would have been great for all together for buys, right? But that is it's just under the 50% level, 50% of that short run, right? That big one that that has been causing all this downward pressure. Well, I guess the best way to do it is before that news event happened, right? Or before my trading window. And so, oh, whoa, that's way far. Oh, goodness. All right. I was going to try to do a whole thing on price cycles too, but I knew that we'd probably run over. So that'll be the two continue. But yeah, I realized that again, this is 50%, is a test of 50%, and it's the first test. And so at this point now, been able to withstand the market, come against me or run against me. I've hence started to go long in the market because again, this has looked like, at least for now, within the trading windows, that this news event has created, a new trend. But at this point, was at the more break even. I continued to go long to this action point, and then as it started to stall, I took out my profit. Right, so I was able to recoup, and then took out the profit at a little bit of the profit. I think it was like a 0.5% or maybe like 0.30. But now I have a fresh, clean slate, right? Free bullets, or all my bullets and all my positions to start, possibly looking for selling opportunities. And so that really helped with my bias, but also understand, having confidence in the bias, and that, and again, that 50 or not, and not closing 50% above that run, long run or short run, just really gave me more confidence, right? To say, okay, I have a higher probability, right, of these trades. And so I started looking for more pullbacks, more 3-bar reversals, towards just as evidence and confirmation to the short side, and started sorting, and was, again, at this point, bias is really, looking like, hey, I might actually know what I'm talking about as far as, what that trend, what my bias actually is. And so, yeah, starting to sort to the, or take trades to the short side, which allowed me to, ultimately make money here at this action point. And then, but yeah, looking for those pullbacks is one of my top high probabilities.
So how do you, so looking for the pullback, what do you look for before? Like, is there a certain action that you're waiting for that you think, okay, the pullback's coming? Does that make sense? Right. So you have you have them identified right here as pullbacks, right? Right. Yes, right. Yes, they are pullbacks, but is there something that
well, my trigger, right? Yeah.
Trigger, exactly.
Yep. And so what I'm looking for with pullbacks is candles, engulfing candles that are closing, below this previous candlestick's low, and that's a good indication that I'm going to start to see a pretty good pullback, right? And then also this test here, and so yeah, that's what really mainly is my first indication that I have a high probability for that pullback. That's the evidence, I guess, that I look for.
And so now you're into the trade. Do you have a specific exit that you're looking for?
Right. Yes. I mean? Yeah, absolutely.
Or did I jump ahead too?
No, you're helping me along because again, okay. I just ran through my whole presentation. Right now, So the particular exit, and that's why I really like using the zero take profit, right? Is because I'm really focusing on being able to determine or take appropriate profit at a test, right? Or giving it the opportunity to break, to break through that test. And so still working on that, but have been able to do pretty well as far as taking profit, or letting it run and maximizing on the profit. But taking, oops, why is it? Because I'm clicking on it. That's why. But this would be a good place that I look to take profit, right? Because of this first test, if I was already onto the long, like if I had recognized this area down here, because you can kind of start to see a little bit of evidence that it might shoot towards, you might have this move to the long side, right? You've not only got these, 3-bar reversal, got a little bit of an engulfing candle there, smaller candles to the short side, but you're also at that, again, major support or action point or low. And so if I was able to catch this to the long side, again, I would be looking more for, I'd probably take profit here, right, at that stall, maybe fade it, and then really pay attention to the price action on this candle, and start to maybe probably would still be in a little bit of buys there, right? But then looking with this wick and short down here, and then again, this next candle to the short side closing, or not closing, but the full thing 50% or less than 50%, then looking for that pullback, and then and then exits on a stall or test, and this is an area that typically, and what happened today too, is kind of getting, I was cutting some of those winners short, right? Instead of let it actually draw all the way up for the max profit. But getting better at it. But again, ultimately, this section was how I got to break even doing that, and then.
So we're getting in every time that it dropped, and then getting out as it came up to the top again.
So with this specific trade, how it worked out for with my trading is, again, I was in shorts all the way basically up into here, and so I was upside down in my trades, and so I waited a little bit because I obviously don't want to try to take those losses at the top of the price cycle, but I was thankfully light enough that I still had plenty of out or positions, or excuse me, for my risk, so trades I could take. And then I started to trade. I started to take some of take some of my upside down trades off here and kind of mitigate my risk. And then started going long. So my bias changed, and then what did that is, of course, that news event, this high structure, and then this pullback. I was at this point looking for a pullback, high probability pullback that I can make my money back on, and then hopefully, get more. In which was nice was I was able to, if that makes sense. And so, and then of course, just continue to use this technique, and then look for these pullbacks throughout this time, and then of course back into just kind of the regular, I guess, price action, right? And knowing that the probability that the market will come to this action point, at least for definitely for that first test, a lot higher than it's going to start to bounce back to the short side. And so at this point, I was looking at, of course, building into my trades, and then taking, and then to the short side, which worked out really well. And up to this point, second test, got didn't catch all of, got caught here. But I just used the same tactics. I was light, and I knew the second test, yes, it could break against me. So I would, was really light, and I was cognizant of that before. I wasn't, right here. I stopped taking the short trades, let it test this area here and bounce, and then ultimately started to come back in my favor, and I built more positions here to the short side, and then really rode it for a good day the rest of the way short towards my initial bias. But yeah, that's what I look for as far as high probability pullbacks is just the evidence, the engulfing candles that are not closing above or above the 50% line, or excuse me, below a 50% line of that previous candle high, and continue to manage those trades away effectively. So today was definitely a good day, and I've got a lot of use out of being able to use those. Really just those the first three is really what had helped me to manage those trades, right? Those first three analysis rules or our steps. So,
that's a good question. Hubert asks, are you trading the same size and positions when you find your high probability setups, or do you add more on? Do you trade the same? Do you change the way you trade when you see a setup that you like?
Yeah, so I have really been focusing on been keeping my lot size the same, right? So I've been 0.05 on the lot, and so I don't change my lot size. I'll place I'll kind of stack those trades in, right? So the higher the probability, like for a pullback, I'll put in 2 or 3 trades, right, or whatever I might need for my to recover for my upside down trades for today. And then what was the second part of the question, Dave? I can't see the.
Oh, just I think you answered it. It's just one question. Like, since you keep your lot size the same, do you add more trades maybe at high probability so you're
right?
So you're
quantity
deeper
right.
quantity.
Yeah, the quantity of trades is more as opposed to having to change my lot.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Is there any other questions too, so we can kind of keep this interactive?
Or we can always keep it interactive. I just don't know how far are you into your, like, do you have?
No, I mean that's essentially because and then just us all kind of just talking about it. I wanted to give time for that, but no.
So from what I hear you say, and again, I thank you so much, Jimmy, because I know that this, you put a lot of effort into this, and I know it's something that you don't do all the time. And you certainly don't get paid to do this. So I appreciate you taking the time, first of all, to put yourself out there, because I really think that as you share your knowledge, you're not only teaching us, you're teaching yourself too. Right.
So, yeah, no, it was definitely a great, I needed to, because I've got skill sets on all the different levels, right?
Sure.
And I know how to use the different tactics, but I think that it's, at least for me, it's kind of good to go back to even those first beginning things, right? That made the foundation or makes your foundation strong. And, and the simpler I kind of trade or, keep trading, always the better that I've been able to do. Right. But yeah, no, it's always my pleasure. I'm getting a little bit better. I think about teaching, and it'll just get better from there on out. But yeah, you learn a lot, right? You learn a lot by teaching.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
And you do the research, you take the trades. It's fun. It's definitely fun. And
well, I for one can say I've seen your trading grow from a firsthand experience, from the days that you and I were both introduced to A period fund at the same time. In fact, I think even on the same day. and from you and me, from like what is a trade to all the way to where we're at today. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's been a long journey. I remember, spending multiple hours trading with you in the office and having some like trying to figure out trading together. So we've definitely put in the seat time.
Oh yeah.
If you could go back and maybe
fun.
you could go back to your history of trading, if there's anything that you could say to people that are either just getting started in the middle of their journey, or anything that you could say that would help them, that's a couple of golden nuggets that maybe you have found that have really, really helped you on your journey. What would you kind of say?
Well, definitely the people that I've been able to, that have given their time to help me.
Okay.
To trade. And so
I'm talking about for them.
You're gonna make me tear up, bro.
No, I'm not talking. I'm not telling you. I'm talking about what could they do? Right?
Oh, what could they do? People around you that definitely are wanting to help, right?
That's
and actually care. And those, it's hard to find, right?
Find a community, right?
Find a community. Yeah, exactly. You surround yourself with the right people. Trading it has to be a passion, right? And I think, I know that we all feel the same way, right? And so, you definitely want to be, so people, I've always learned best with kind of a mix of I guess, curriculum, right? And so the self-guided stuff has always been really helpful for me to kind of give me just that step-by-step stuff, process, and then, I'll be able to review. But when you mix that in with, good live trading sessions, right? And so that's been, that would definitely, I would say people, would need, right? Or can do, right? Explore, look at live classes, look at YouTube videos, books, right? I mean, it really, everything, try to expand your knowledge of the type of trading that you think trader you are. And then the type of learning approach is best for you. And then, ultimately, how, it's been good. It's always good to have, and again, I'm spoiled, right? So just trying to think of, but, have somebody that, that can teach you, or that you're in on their learning approach, I guess you'd say, right?
Sure.
And so, yeah, you've definitely helped me with that, Dave, because again, big kudos to you just on the way that you've been able to break concepts down for us, right? It's I think it's definitely a talent, for sure. Because there's been places that times where I watched other traders and I just I don't know, they're just not. For me, I just don't see like the process, right? Of this is what we're gonna do as far as like action point, right? Because we're upside down in our trades. We're going to really pay attention to this stall, like to how to have those ABCs or 1, 2, 3s of contingency trading or the what if trading,
sure.
Right? I think that's from what I've seen, can be difficult for some people who teach. I mean, I couldn't do it, but the pros out there, that can be hard to kind of maybe break down in such detail to where you can really, or at least where I could understand it, right, and have those aha moments, for sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And so, yeah, get with a good person, person that you on their learning approach, and then screen time.
Screen time.
Get your screen time in, for sure. That's what I would say people should get.
So there's a question from Hubert real quick that says, do you use high probability trades for fixing your trades or just part of your normal trading?
All in, I'm always looking for evidence for those high probability trades, right? And
sure.
So they are, I would say both, right? It's a way to, again, in this with this trading example that for today was I was wrong, right, in my bias, right? Well, and instead of just continuing to dig myself in the hole and say I can't be wrong, I just look for the evidence for those high probability trades, right? So 3-bar reversals, being just aware of where the action points are. So, but it's all in how to recover, and also, of course.
And I've heard you say action points like a bunch of times.
I'm trying to install that, man, and I know that
And so it just happened to
support resistance action point.
No, it just so happened that we had a class. Our very first class from the pilot seat was all about action points today. So it's just like perfect timing. So if you guys don't know what action points are, we just taught on that, and hopefully you guys who are in the class now know what action points are and what to do when they hit when you get to them, right?
right. And or you can say they're all these squiggle lines that Jimmy had on his chart, right? And so,
these are action points, right here.
Millions of points, right here. Stop. Not that
all
bad.
action points.
Not that point. No, but it's and these are the major ones. We might have to go through again. So we might part 2 this, but because I wanted to try to fit in all 3 of those in the hour, right? So your bias, your drawing your action points, your price and time cycles, and then the trade execution, or manage, entries, and then management, and then exit. And so, but it was so much info. I was like, okay, I gotta jam it into the one the one presentation. So I hope that it made sense a little bit for him.
No, do we have any last questions? I mean, again, appreciate you taking the time to put this together.
Pleasure. Yeah,
and to really hone in on that.
My pleasure. I was getting a lot of questions about action points. Especially for people who are new to the community. So thought it'd be good to kind of define that, and then I was getting some questions about bias. What is it, and how do you determine when when you maybe need to switch? And so all these ideas into this buffet of a presentation for y'all. So.
Well, I know that it gets easier as you do more of them, right? And
sure, I bet.
And I can still remember the first time, like I've said many times, the first time I was asked to present in front of a large group. It's a little bit nerve-wracking, and it's like walking and chewing gum at the same time, right? Sometimes it's difficult, but I really appreciate you putting yourself out there, making yourself feel uncomfortable, because that's when we grow, right? And
my friend.
Really stretching for that, for sure. Right.
Heck yeah. And then maybe one night, we'll have to see how you guys feel about it. I mean, no, but I'd love just to trade, just to trade these concepts, because I feel like that's for me. For some reason, I'm more comfortable doing that than trading, than putting this whole thing together.
No, you did great. So I appreciate it.
Or maybe we'll do like a half an hour of trades.
do a session and just, hey, watch Jimmy trade. That's a little stressful too.
I know, but I've done that. I've done it before, and I'm all for that. You put me on the spot many times, right? When we first was putting or proving the 5 to 50 concept, right? And so. I don't know what it is, but I do enjoy. Maybe it's because I haven't been down yet. I'd have to go back. But it's my pleasure. Again, I appreciate everybody, and we're all in this together. And so let's make the rest of this year a great one, and get to our goals. Right, get to our goals, and educational goals, and financial. So,
Well, again, thank you very much for your presentation. For those of you guys who are in the hot seat, we will be jumping over to the other room so that we can continue on with our night trading class. So see you guys over there. For those of you guys who are not, we will see you guys in the AM for part 2 of action points for those of you guys who are in the pilot seat, and then we'll do the hot seat class in the morning. So we will see you guys in the AM, and we'll.
Where do you go for the hot seat?
You guys should have access to Cliff and Hilarion. You guys should have access to in Discord. There's a member
I got to get
crew.
the Discord.
There's a member crew for hot seat, and I posted the link there in Discord. So that's where it is for that.
Thank you.
So, all right, guys.
And you guys are gonna have a great session tonight.
Okay.
On jelly.
We'll see you guys in the morning. Thanks, guys.
All right, see you guys. Good luck with the trading.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Of course.